Get your tickets now for the 23rd annual edition of the OUTshine LGBTQ Plus Film Festival, happening April 23rd to May 2nd. Don't miss our incredible grand opening drive-in event, followed by 10 days of non-stop films from here and all around the world that you can at home. Watch trailers and get your tickets at outshine.com now. Welcome, everyone, to the Q&A for Narcissus Goldman, a fantastic film, part of the 23rd annual Miami Gay and Lesbian Film Festival, or as we're now called, the OUTshine LGBTQ Plus Film Festival. Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to have the writer and director of this absolutely amazing film with me today. His name is Stefan Ruzowitzki. And I promised him I would probably get that right, maybe. How are you, Stefan?
Fine. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for giving us your film. I've said this now twice this festival, and I don't really get to say it often enough. But honestly, I was blown away by your film. Now, you have a lot of pretty significant credits to your career. Talk to us about your career as a writer and director, just to start.
I got quite an eclectic mix of art house movies and mainstream genre pictures as well. And of course, I got this one movie that won an Academy for Best Foreign Language Film, and I always try to make either art house movies which also are accessible for a broader audience, or to make mainstream genre movies that are somehow intelligent. So trying to find a good balance here.
Well, obviously, when you get names like Sony, Columbia as part of your credits, that speaks volumes to your history, because they must really believe in you. And after watching this film, I think they had really good reason to. It's a very powerful film, told in a very powerful way. And I have to tell you that the storytelling was brilliant. So you're the writer. Before we get to your director credits, let's talk about writing this film, where the idea came from, and what were you really reaching for in doing this film?
This was when I was a teenager, like one of my first favorite books ever. And, because it's touching a lot of issues that are important for you at the age of 15, 16, 17, like friendship, what is my path in life, first love, all these things. And then like some decades later, I got the offer to make a movie out of it, and of course I said yes right away. And it was like returning to your first love in a way.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So now I'm going to ask you a question that kind of takes you to your putting your director's cap on, if you will. I loved the way you opened that film before you went to credits. How you introduced the two main characters as little kids in the church, and how they looked at each other, that first glance, and I want to talk about that first glance too, and then went to their names, which of course is the name of the movie, Narcissus Goldman, and I hope I'm saying that correctly, and I think I am. So talk to us about how you came up with the idea to introduce those characters and then have names come on screen, and that first glance that I think it was Narcissus gave him.
Yeah, it's the movie is based on Hermann Hesse's famous book, and the problem for me as a writer was that in the book, Narcissus is just introduced in the beginning and then we don't hear about him for the biggest part of the book, and then just at the very end he returns. And I felt this is sort of the story of a great friendship, and it must not be that he's not on the screen for the whole time. So we created this kind of flashback thing where he appears again and again on screen. And Hesse's book unfortunately does not really tell how these two guys become friends. They just are. And I felt it would be easier if I show them becoming friends as children. Because I think it's always, you know, as kids, you're making friends easier, and you don't need reasons for that. And I think the older you get, the more difficult it is to really engage yourself in a friendship. And so I thought, you know, as kids, it's just let's be friends, and that can be the beginning of a lifelong relationship.
But that first glance that Narcissus gives to Goldman, that sets the tone for the story, doesn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so fitting. You know, the name Narcissus is an interesting name. We just had a president that many use that same name for, so very coincidental that we would use it. But was there any reflection to the literal? I mean, it's in another language, so I'm going to guess probably not, unless in German the word narcissus has a similar connotation. Is there any similarity to the word? And it certainly doesn't fit the character.
No, it's people here in Germany, you know, are confused a little bit as well, because there is the term, you know, being a narcissist, and actually this name has nothing to do with it. I think Hesse was going for very special names, and yes, I don't know whether this was sort of the perfect choice, because it has nothing to, it does not relate to narcissism or to a narcissistic character.
Neither did our president, so it's okay. So these are two very complex characters in totally different ways coming together, and we're showing them on screen now, and you can just see each of them has completely different roadmaps, if you will, but yet the commonality is that enduring friendship, which at the end, you know, you kind of bring out. But I want to go through some of the other elements, because I found the filmmaking itself to be brilliant. We're talking about the cinematography, the framing, the costumes, the extras. It was a period piece done to perfection. Every single element of this film, and I don't get to say that often enough, was done exactly that way. So you must have had an amazing director of photography and an amazing team to help you put together the shot. So talk to us a little bit about how you found these locations, how you built these sets, how you brought this film alive.
The basic concept was that we tried to show the world through the eyes of Goldman. And Goldman, he's an artist, and he goes out into the world, and he's full of enthusiasm and is fascinated by everything he sees. So the idea was to show the image of a most beautiful world, you know, and the girls are beautiful, and the landscapes are beautiful, and everything is beautiful, just the way he sees it. And we shot the movie in Austria and the Czech Republic, mainly just the winter sequence. You just showed an image from that. We shot in southern Tyrol, and yeah, and here in good old Europe, you have a lot of old medieval fortresses where you can work, especially in the Czech Republic. There are lots of them, and we made a bit of a medieval road movie and went from one castle to the next one. So that also for us, the filmmaking team, it was like a quest, going from one location to the next.
Introduce your two characters, Giannis and Sabin, so that we can give them their credits, because they certainly deserve mention during this Q&A. If you would give us their names, because you're not going to screw it up like I will.
So on the left you have Sabin Tambrea. He's actually a migrant from Romania. He came to Germany when he was a little child. And Janis Niewöhner, he's German, and the two of them don't want to hear it, but as a matter of fact, they are pretty similar to the characters they performed. Sabine, he's sort of the intellectual, very thoughtful, whereas Jan is super charming. He loves everybody. Everybody loves him. He never went to an acting school, but started as a child actor and just kind of grew into it. And when he enters a room, the sun shines suddenly, to say it like that. Whereas Sabine, very smart, very intellectual, very intelligent. So it really matched. It doesn't have to be that way, but in this case it was.
So did Sabine have to learn Latin? I was just kind of curious about that, because he did it so well.
Yes, he had. As much as I know, Romanian, the language, is the language most similar to Latin. So it wasn't that easy for him. So Romanian is more similar to Latin than today's Italian.
Okay.
So it wasn't a big deal for him, but I think he had not learned Latin in school, as much as I know.
So one scene that I got a particular kick out of was the scene outside. It's a winter scene, and Goldsman has to go into the water that had to be freezing cold.
Yes.
What was it like for him? And you'll have to speak for him. What was it like for him to actually film that scene? And what was it like your crew to be out in that really frigid, snowy cold, creating the scene as well?
It was super cold, because it was really almost freezing, and it, of course, he hated it. But then again, I think actually actors love that. This is a story you can tell your grandchildren. Back then, I alone in the freezing river, and I gave everything for my art, that kind of stuff. So it's cold for a few seconds, but you have the credit for the rest of your life.
I think it's more than a few seconds, but we'll yield to that.
We didn't repeat the scene too often.
How many takes did it take?
I think we did it just once. It was
really very happy about that, right? So religion is a very major element of this film. Mm-hmm. It's in fact it's at the core of everything. Whereas Narcissus is a monk, and he's studying religion from his earliest childhood days, and this is his destiny, and he is sworn to it. Why was religion to such an extreme so important for you to bring into the film, or was just that what that was what the story was going to be around, built around?
I think it's that's the story, and actually I think or for me, it's not so much about religion, but it's sort of the contrast between the intellectual who sort of does not dare to go out into the world and confront himself with reality, with sin, with danger, and just stays in his little safe
cocoon,
safe zone, and on the other side you have Goldman, who does just the opposite, who goes out and tries to experience everything. He commits crime, falls in love, you know, like the whole spectrum. And I think Narcissus, as a monk and abbot later on, he's of the medieval version of an intellectual, but I think actually he has the same issues today's intellectuals do have, which is am I not missing something if everything just happens in my head, if I sort of do not allow myself or confront myself with reality.
He actually says that kind of at the end of the movie, that, you know, this life that I've chosen, which is something that he's committed to and loves, but there is love beyond just the love of God.
Yes, I mean, in his case, he also thinks that because of his religion, because of his love to God, he's not allowed to love another human being. He does not allow himself to love his friend Goldman, which actually is the case, and he tries to fight it. And as we all know, this does not. Usually this does not work, yeah.
Let's go to that storyline for a minute, because I found that to be interesting. Of course, we know it's labeled as an LGBTQ plus film, at least for our festival it is, but it's really not. It's a story of two people, and it's a story of a hidden love. And all through the movie, you're kind of waiting for the two, at least I was watching it, for them to, you know, that first glance, and all through, in the way they were so close, such good friends, you're waiting for them to come together. But yet here's girl after girl after girl for Goldman. And, you know, he eventually, when toward the end they get back together, and I hope all of you have watched this movie, so I'm not giving any spoiler alerts, but obviously you have. At the end is when he finally gets the guts to say to Goldman, you know, hey, you know, I love you. I've loved you. And that really kind of ended their relationship, which I was very shocked about. I thought maybe there was a hidden love on both of their parts, but I kept waiting for it through the whole movie.
Actually, yes. I mean, we discussed this a lot, and of course you have to, with such a classic piece of world literature, you have to stay true to Hesse's novel, you know, and sort of this homoerotic, let's put it that way, element is in the book, you know, and what he says in the end, you know, I only was allowed to be your friend, but I never was allowed to love you, is a quote from the book. And also another quote, which we don't have in the movie, is when Narcissus says, you're dreaming of girls, I'm dreaming of young men. So it's pretty obvious that Narcissus, if he would allow himself emotions and sexuality, he would be gay. You know, but sort of we thought about it, whether there should be like an erotic or sexual encounter, but I felt that would be too far away from the novel.
And I kind of can get it, because it's the struggle that I think, you know, we've seen in the churches and of people of religion, that you know, that they don't give in to the urge to love, and they're very ashamed of that part. And it was very prevalent there. Let's go back to your director of photography. You want to give your director of photography a shout out, a credit, real quick?
I've been working together with him for many years now. He's pretty crazy in many ways, but I think he's a genius. We also collaborated on The Counterfeiters. That's the movie that won the Academy Award, and I think he has sort of a unique combination of technical skills and a very special sensitivity, and always, is sort of takes back his vanity as a cinematographer, if it's, and does everything for the story. It's all about the story that has to work, and it's not about shining as a DOP who creates wonderful images, but still, of course, it's he did create wonderful images, and they serve the story.
There was one scene that was just framed gorgeously. It was about midway through the film. It was with Goldman and the castle. There was a horse in the background. That scene just kind of gave me shivers. Where was that castle? How did you manage to capture the eloquence of the landscape so magnificently?
I mean, we've been looking, of course, for great landscapes. Again, trying to show the beauty of the world as Goldman is experiencing it. And what you refer to, that's in Czech Republic, where we've been shooting the main part of the movie.
Well, your director of photography deserves a lot of credit, because he framed the placement of the camera. For those of us that love film and watch film from the other side, it is so important how you capture the surroundings without focusing on the surroundings. And it puts you right into the middle of the movie. And he did that over and over and over again. How about the costumes? How many people were on this film? You have like a major cast and everybody in magnificent costumes. You captured the period to perfection. Talk us through all that and the work that went into that.
I mean, what we tried with costumes and production design is to have sort of a contemporary flavor in it, that it doesn't really look like, we wanted to have a story that is also a story of today, and not just something that happened many years ago. And so we tried to create a combination of authentic medieval costumes and authentic medieval set design, but in between always have some little things that actually refer to today's world, to combine that. In the Czech Republic, you have a lot of sort of old school costume makers, carpenters, all that, like Goldman, he becomes a sculptor, and all these sculptures that he creates in the movie were actually created by some Czech artists working in the Barrandov studio. So that's really a joy to work with these people who still have these old traditional skills.
Did the actor Goldman have to? Is that a real beard, or is that a makeup?
It's makeup, and for him it was a nightmare, because often we had to shoot in the morning without beard, then midday with beard, and then in the evening another scene without beard, and taking that beard on and taking it off is 2 hours each in makeup department. we tried everything to have that as as rare as possible, but of course it didn't work, and he was constantly sitting in the makeup department, which is not fun, you know.
No.
If it's again hours and hours, you know, to get the beard fix on your face and to get it off again.
I figured maybe you shot the film in a different way. Maybe he came into the set with the beard, and you shot all the scenes with the beard, and then all the other.
That was the plan, you know. But then you know, the logistics of a movie schedule are so complicated, and because of, you know, there you have to be for the sunset, you have to do this, and then I don't know, availabilities of other actors, and again, you know, in the beginning we said this is not going to happen, and because of course it's also a challenge for an actor if you have to change from being young to being grown up. You know, and it would have been easier if he sort of could have focused, you know, for a shooting day just on one age, but that didn't work. But I'm happy that you've been asking whether the beard is authentic. So apparently it does look real.
It looks fantastic. So following up on the younger and older towards the end, he has a reckoning. He has a reflection of his life, and he sees so many elements and components that have built his life and the struggles that he went through. And then I guess he comes out the other side, and I saw that as a transition. Is this where you kind of wanted to now go to kind of the close of his life, the search for his mom and all that, and kind of leave behind the struggles that this character has gone through for really all of his life, from being beaten as a kid to the current?
I mean, this is also, I think, a bit of a contemporary flavor, let's put it that way. You know, so Goldman is going out into the world to make all these experiences, great ones, and you know, beautiful women, sex, crime. He becomes an artist. He does everything, you know. And this is also something that became sort of a problem, I think, in today's society, or let's say in today's pre-COVID society, you know, that we had this extensive just going for more and more, and bungee jumping, and you know, what else can I do? And it's not about freedom anymore, but it's rather you know, you consume these experiences, which is actually not the right thing either. And in the end, this can become a very shallow concept of life. You know, if you're just collecting different experiences, if you're just collecting countries you travel to and never have sort of a real experience there, but it's just, you know, like your super long bucket list. I got to do this and that, got to go there and there. And this we try to show as well, that this concept of going out into the world and making experiences can become a trap as well. And in the end, at the end of his life, he's asking himself, so what was all that good for? You know, and luckily, because of as he is an artist, he finds a way to what's the proper English term, you know, to make something out of these experiences and transform them to art, which is something not everybody has the ability or the possibility to do.
So true. You have me reflecting on my life now. I think I'm going out and starting to experience everything. You know, look at all the things I've been missing. You have me thinking hard and heavy right now. So going to the art of him, and then, you know, we'll kind of wrap it there. the art was sensational. How did you build those? How were those pieces built? What were they made out of? Whose mind thinks like that?
I mean, the challenge was to create something, an altar, which is sort of very special. So we felt that we're just allowed to be inspired by the art of that time, but it should be something which is special and breathtaking, and in a way without comparison. And this altar he's building, you know, there are sort of all the women he met throughout his life are portrayed there. And for these portraits, we made 3D shots of the actresses. And then, as I said before, there was this fantastic Czech sculptor from the Barrandov studios, and he created sort of the bodies. And it was really great. Again, spoiler alert, in the end of the movie, the altar is burning, and actually all these wonderful figures, this wonderful sculptures were destroyed. You know, you can see it in the movie. They don't exist anymore. And we had invested so much time and money in creating that thing. And then we filmed and watched how it got destroyed, which was sort of almost metaphysical event, you know, because it also made us think, so what actually is the value of this altar? And it's not the altar itself, but it's the image of the altar being destroyed. So very tricky, very beautiful things you can do with these thoughts.
It's an amazing juxtaposition of, you know, the reality of the statues and the disappearance of them. And I guess that was part of the medieval times too, because church after church was built and destroyed, destroyed as different religious elements came to life, and this was no different. Stefan,
it's a big issue, you know, for Goldman, that art, and also for Hesse in the book, you know, that art is something which is immortal, you know, and then actually we have the juxtaposition, because we show the art is destroyed, so it's not immortal, but then again it is immortal because it's
exactly
on the screen, you know, and will be on the screen until the end of days. So, yes.
So what are the plans for this film?
Yes, we had the worst movie start ever, because the movie opened here in Germany and Austria on the lockdown weekend. So it opened on Friday, and on Saturday the movie theaters were closed because of COVID. And so the movie was produced as a big mainstream movie, you know, and Columbia had invested lots of money for this big movie opening, and then after one day, whoops, you know, and this is something you never can redo, you know, and so
except
after a couple of weeks, you know, some movie theaters opened again, and they had some special screenings, and then they had some they started to release it via streaming platforms.
Did you have a opening somewhere, a premiere?
Yes, we had a premiere, you know, and then it was a premiere, and then we had a little movie theater tour with the main cast, and then we had the opening weekend, and that was a year ago, you know, just when the lockdown started. So
it wasn't broke. Where was it? Where was it? Where was the premiere?
In Berlin.
Oh, so it was Berlinale, or?
No, it was not Berlinale. it was
It
just
deserved to be Berlinati because it was that good of a movie. Stefan, thank you so much for giving the OUTshine Film Festival your film. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. I really hope it gets all the kudos it deserves, and and you recoup everything that you put into it. What's next on the agenda for you?
I shot a movie just before the lockdown, which is gonna premiere this summer, and looking forward to that.
Any LGBTQ elements in it?
Yes, but it's not sort of the main theme.
Can you put one more in so we could have another film from you?
Yes, there is. It's a movie about toxic masculinity, and which is sort of an issue that I apparently am interested in, and therefore I always like, to confront my heroes with LGBTQ issues, because that's questioning their self-image, of being manly, and how to deal with that. And so we have something like that in it.
I understand what you're saying. I got you. All right. Anyway, I like to make sure my masculinity flows through the screen sincerely. Stefan, again, I've said it before. Thank you again for giving the 23rd annual Miami edition of the OUTshine LGBTQ Film Festival your film. We are presented by Gilead and Miami-Dade County. And now, how about we play a trailer of your film? Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Der Junge wird Pfaffe. Ich kann ihn nicht mehr ansehen.
Ich hasse Narzissten.
Ich Goldmund. Hey Narzisst, hast du einen besten Freund?
Weil unsere Liebe aus Gott gehören.
Wir drei können jetzt zusammen Freunde sein. Du, ich und Gott.
Du siehst gar nicht aus wie ein Mann. Wie ein richtiger Mann.
Goldmund ist wie ein Vogel im Käfig. Er muss hinaus in die Welt. Du weißt auch, dass er hier nicht glücklich werden wird.
Was auch immer du da draußen gesehen hast, gehört nicht hierher. Vielleicht gehöre ich auch nicht mehr hierher.
Meister Niklaus, ich habe eure Maria in der Kathedrale gesehen. Ich muss von euch lernen.
Armut, Gehorsam, Keuschheit, ein Leben lang?
Es ist meine Bestimmung. Amen.
Willst du mich auch küssen? Nein.
Goldmund, was ist denn passiert? Mehr als in ein Leben passt.
Viel Gutes und viel Schlechtes erlebt. Aber auch große Schönheit.
Ich habe mich ein Leben lang hinter meinen Büchern versteckt.
Narziss, dies hier ist deine Bestimmung. Du hast immer gesagt, die Welt ist göttlich, dass es keine Antworten gibt, nur große Fragen.
Ist es nicht mutiger, hinauszugehen, Fehler zu machen? Damals hast du mich fortgeschickt, weil ich dich mehr liebte als mich selbst.